Dr. Castleberry here, and I want to have a brief word about our film or media journals that you will produce for the COM 3423 class, Veterans in Media. And we just want a quick note about the aspect, the idea of journaling, what it is, what it represents, but how it can become a great tool for you if you don't regularly participate in anything like this in your everyday life. All right. And so first of all, I want to establish that when you complete these journal entries, you really truly can think of them like a note-taking activity. And for some that might mean kind of narrative linear journaling. For others it might be about bullet pointing, stream of consciousness, thoughts and reactions. But here's where we want to tie it in. The reason we call it a film journal is because it should relate explicitly to the screening of the week. Now, many times that might be an actual film in class. So it's your film notes, right? That's where we get the title there. But other times, other iterations of the course, maybe we're looking at something slightly different. Maybe it's some news documentary footage or some type of, a TV program it could be whether it's a drama or a comedy or, anything, whatever the artifact is that we're sampling that week, we want you to do some practice active note taking. It's a skill we recognize students don't do enough increasingly in the age we're in right now. And it's an excellent habit to pick up wherever you're at. Now, on one hand, we'll absolutely approve and welcome and look forward to your typed thoughts, your typed notes. But I want to take it one step further. Sometimes I'm coming at this as a media scholar, if I'm trying to organize my thoughts, put together, let's say a scholarly project on, we'll call it a film, and I sit down with a laptop and I start to screen the film and take some notes. If I'm on the laptop typing away, I drift, right? So my focus drifts a little bit because I'll get into real stream of consciousness writings mode, or what I do if I have more time is I end up pausing the film or rewinding it, pause, rewind it, and I'm taking more notes and doing all this stuff. And I'll spend a lot more time writing than I will be screening the film. Now, on one hand, if I'm doing that, it's usually a film I've already seen before. So for me, it's a deeper process than I'm getting into. It's not really the same process we're getting into. So on the other hand, a technique I picked up when I took several grad courses on media and film in particular was taking notes by hand, right? And so learning how to scribble thoughts, often in the dark, about whatever text I was taking in. And then I could translate that into some more cogent thoughts later on. And so for that reason, and not just because of a media studies, I have a faculty member, professor, if we want to call it that, but I often have not just one, I have multiple notebooks on hand with me nearly at all times. Here are two that I just pulled out of my bag that I carry around with me. I've usually got one of those on me. I have several at home, and I typically don't enter a meeting without one of these, even if I have a laptop or even if it's an informal meeting. I just never know when I need to take a good note. Now, you say to yourself, well, I don't need all of these physical things. I'm a minimalist and I take notes on, I have a notepad on my phone. Well, that's great too. And you could do that too. You know what I'm guilty of? And I used to think I was the disciplined one. I'm guilty of, I get on my notepad on my phone. And believe me, I could pull up, well, I can't. It's recording right now. I could pull up my notepad and demonstrate all the notes and thoughts I've recorded on a digital pad. But wow, if we're being honest, we're being accountable, how often do we pull up that only to go down the rabbit trail of something else? And it's getting dangerously close to almost every time, right? It's like, I might as well check my email while I'm here. Oh, look at this. What's this update? What's this alert? I've received, a couple of different text messages, and suddenly we're not doing the thing we set out to do. There's traditional modalities can sometimes, really save us in that way. But if you want to take your film or media notes each week via old school paper and pen, we highly encourage and will recognize that simply all you need to do after that is take a picture of it, a clear picture, a clean one. Make sure we can, tell that the notes aren't your grocery list, and then upload that pic to the Dropbox for your film or media notes, and we want to give you credit that way. So we're going to be flexible as long as possible, in many ways as possible, with those film notes, because you know what, that kind of diligent habit can lead to aha moments. It can lead to awakenings. It's not just an aha moment for, let's say, a paper in the course or a thought you might want to share in a roundtable finale, but aha moments in your life. Suddenly you're taking down notes in the workplace. You're demonstrating that's an active mode of critical thinking, not a passive mode, right? Passive modes, passive mode tends to result in us checking out, right? Checking out of the situation. When we check out of the situation, well, we find ourselves in trouble, right? Oh, I stopped listening to my significant other, right? Oh, I didn't hear that important note from my boss, and I sure didn't write it down. So now I have to humble myself and then go and figure out when that deadline was again. And so active note-taking is an essential life skill. It's not just an academic skill, but we want to reward your effort for that here. Guess what? I suspect if you don't do that, if that's not a habit you have, you're going to kind of enjoy practicing that habit. It's kind of fun to scribble thoughts in the dark, watching a film or, some kind of piece of media, try to kind of, you're solving a micro puzzle of your own creation that's tethered to, right, and relates to that media form. And this is just a great habit. I carry these notes. I carry journals with me into meetings. Usually my backpack or book bag or whatever bag I'm kind of carrying a laptop around with, and so it's on me. I can draw some inspiration there. Again, those long lines, pull something out, have an activity that can help me pass the time. Take it to church. All the event spaces where I might need to jot down a thought or two. We want to celebrate this process. We want to celebrate your thoughts. Your thoughts matter in this Veterans in Media course.